Welcome back, guys. So today I want to do something a little different. I've done this before, but I've taken a break from it to show you guys all the footage from my trip to Jamaica, and I still have a couple more of those to come for you. But I had been reading from Jamaican authors, in particular, this particular author, Glen Laman. I have been reading to you from his book called Hero of Fern Gully, which is a great book, all lots of short stories, and I've recorded some of them, so you can look at that playlist. And I will link to it at the end of this video. But this particular book is called Jamaican Entrepreneurship, and it's a review of the characteristics, traits, and ideas underlying the success of some of the island's most accomplished entrepreneurs. And there's some gems in here that I'm sure you'll find fascinating. So I highly recommend this book. And I'm going to read to you today about the origin of the Tastee Patty, because who among us don't love a Tastee Patty? I know that there's juicy beef as well, and we love that, and there's always back and forth who prefers which one. I know that some people have a preference for the chicken patty at one place and the beef at another, but I grew up with Tastee Patty first, and so I really love a Tastee Patty, but I've also enjoyed juicy beef. So everybody have to get their piece of the pie, right? So this story though is about Vincent Chang, who is the originator, it was his brainchild, and I really find the whole story fascinating. I'm going to read it to you from start to end. I would just tell you the story, but then that doesn't give any credit to Mr. Laman, and he's done such a wonderful job of putting it together that I think you'll find it interesting and enjoyable. So here goes. So forgive me if I look down sometimes, obviously I'm reading, so here we go. So Vincent Chang rose from very humble beginnings to create one of the most recognized brands in Jamaica, Tastee Limited. He transformed a Jamaican snack, which consists of a meat filling surrounded by a flaky crust, from an occasional snack to an important element in the island's cuisine. Excuse me. And he built a fast food empire that satisfies consumers in Jamaica and other Caribbean islands. Vincent Chang was born in China on December the 1st, 1938. His father, Percy Chang, was born in Jamaica but had been sent back to China by his family, as was common at that time, to learn the culture. His father met and married his mother, On Ten Lentai, in Hong Kong, where they had 4 children, Vincent, Herbert, Peter, and David. Chang's father had made arrangements to take his family to Jamaica, but 3 days before the ship was to sail, he died in a tragic accident. The plans had already been made, and so they embarked on the long journey to Jamaica. Chang was accompanied on the voyage by his mother and brother Peter. 2 brothers stayed behind. Herbert was later sent to Canada, and David to Jamaica. Chang was 13 years of age when he disembarked from a blue funnel-lined cargo ship in Kingston Harbor. Chang's early life in Jamaica was not an easy one. Separated from his family, he worked for his keep in the Chinese grocery shops wherever he stayed. He was first sent to live with his aunt Maisie, who had a shop in Smithville, Clarendon, and then to his grandfather, who had a shop in Frankfield, Clarendon. After about a year in Clarendon, he was back to living with Aunt Maisie, who had now moved to Kingston, the capital, and was now living on East Avenue near Spanish Town Road in a neighborhood known as Greenwich Farm. He attended the Chinese public school on North Street under the guidance of legendary headmistress Joy Moo Young. After leaving the Chinese school, he took night classes at St. George's Extension School while working in the shop by day. The 1943 census of Jamaica showed 12,394 Chinese residing on the island. These were divided into 3 categories by the census, namely China-born, 2,818, local-born, 4,061, and Chinese-colored, 5,515, the latter referring to multiracial people of mixed African and Chinese descent. A recent documentary film, The Chinese Shop, by Jeanette Kong, explores the impact the Chinese grocery stores, such as the ones Chang worked in while growing up, had on Jamaica. From the 1930s to the early 70s, ubiquitous Chinese-owned groceries were located on many busy street corners from downtown Kingston to remote towns in every parish. The Chinese usually lived above or behind the shops, and consequently, the only time most people saw them was when they were behind a shop counter and it appeared that they had no feet. According to Jeanette Kong, the Chinese dominated the grocery business in Jamaica during this period. Many of these shops were like convenience stores, dollar stores, and grocery stores, all rolled into one. The Chinese who owned these shops across the island formed a close-knit community and all knew each other, as some had come from the same villages in China. According to Tony Wong, who grew up in a China shop, the first Chinese had landed on the island in 1854 as indentured servants working on plantations. They eventually moved up the economic ladder by opening tiny stores, which would sometimes grow into substantial chains. Before this, food would be purchased in local markets or outposts run by plantations. These ubiquitous businesses had an impact, small and large, on all aspects of Jamaican society. Author Malcolm Gladwell discusses the sequence of events that led to his own success in his best-selling book, Outliers. His grandmother couldn't afford to send his mother to school, so she borrowed the money from the local Chinese Jamaican shopkeeper. That loan set off the fateful chain of events that sent his mother to England, where he was born. Years later, he would become an influential writer. Wong, 2012. Many successful Jamaicans of Chinese descent credit the early experiences working in these Chinese groceries as providing business smarts that was fundamental to their success. Among them are billionaire business magnate Michael Leachin, who made his fortune in the Canadian mutual fund industry. Wong, 2012. A love for baking. When he was 20 years of age, Chang got a job in the production department at Hannatown Bakery, HTB, and was introduced to baking. He discovered he was good at baking and developed a love for pastry. To improve his skills, Chang enrolled in a course at the American Institute of Baking in Chicago, Illinois, in 1964. The following year, he took a course that specialized in cakes and pastries at the William Hood Dunwoody Industrial Institute in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Shortly after returning to Jamaica, he accepted a position with the National Continental Bakery as a production supervisor. As luck would have it, he just happened to meet Valerie Lushing one day while visiting some friends. It was love at first sight. Chang pursued her vigorously, and they were married in 1966. Creating the Tastee Patte. There was only one problem with his new job. Chang worked the night shift and his wife was home alone at nights. Valerie complained about this arrangement, and so when a small snack shop at Union Square, near Crossroads in Kingston, was placed on the market, Chang saw an opportunity to be independent and put an end to the night shift. Unable to get a bank loan, Chang was able to borrow approximately US $3,000 from friends to buy the snack shop. The shop specialized in meatloaf and also sold buns, biscuits, cocoa bread, patties, and beverages. He added patties to the lineup. He changed the name of the shop to Tastee, a variation of the word tasty, which he had seen used while studying in the USA. Initially, he sold about 20 to 30 patties per day. Now the patty is to Jamaicans what hamburgers are to Americans. Meatloaf was the better-selling item at the time. Gradually, he improved the patty crust, making it flakier, and also experimented with the meat filling, the spices, the size, and the shape. He would take home patties each day and get feedback from Valerie and family. Sales of patties improved, and Chang began to notice that the other items were hardly selling. One day, he made the significant decision that he would dramatically change his life and the Jamaican patty. He dropped all other products and focused entirely on selling patties and drinks. Business was soon going well for Chang. He rented more space. After 2 years in business, patty sales were over 1,000 per day. Suddenly, an illness sidelined him for several months. The business was in jeopardy, but Valerie sprang into action. She took command of operations and rallied family members and staff to keep the business humming until Chang's health was restored. In 1971, Chang built a new facility at 25A Halfway Tree Road in Kingston. This became the main factory and housed the corporate offices as well as a tasty restaurant. This time around, he was able to get a loan from a commercial bank to finance construction. Patties were selling so fast that the old method of making the pies by hand on an assembly line could not keep up with the demand. But there was no such thing as a patty machine. There was, however, an apple turnover machine manufactured by Colburn, which he ordered and modified to process patties. This enabled him to take production to new levels. With 2 new industrial ovens, over 6,000 patties could be produced in an hour. By 1973, Tastee had expanded with 3 additional outlets. Patties were now being distributed by independent wholesalers and distributors. Schools were beginning to show an interest in Tastee products. But all was not smooth sailing. The political winds had changed with the election of Michael Manley's People's Nationalist Party, PNP, in 1972. Manley had decided to experiment with democratic socialism and aligned himself with Cuba's Fidel Castro. This did not sit well with the United States of America, which threw its support behind the opposition Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, headed by Edward Seago. Political violence erupted. The Jamaican economy fell into a tailspin and shortages and other problems ensued. The government started acquiring companies and capitalism fell out of favour. An exodus of the wealthy and entrepreneurial class began. Many fled to the USA and Canada. Chang stayed put. His downtown restaurant had to be closed due to violence. It was a time of turmoil and uncertainty. A change of government in 1980 and an improving business climate allowed Tastee to resume its upward trajectory. The business added several new restaurants. His expansion now extended to areas outside of Kingston, such as Spanish Town and Portmore. The menu was also expanded to include items such as chicken and vegetable patties, as well as other items. Today, the Tastee empire also includes franchises that operate restaurants selling Tastee products under license from the company. Tastee products were always popular among high school students, and they have been able to leverage that by providing management and operations to several school canteens and cafeterias under the Tastee logo. A second factory was opened in Montego Bay to help meet the demand. Chang says he's been encouraged to enter the UK market, but he has shied away from doing so because he would not be able to provide the proper level of attention so far away. Tastee is, however, actively exporting to other islands in the Caribbean, such as the Cayman Islands, Antigua and Barbados, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago. The general public is most familiar with Chang's philanthropy through the Tastee Talent Search competition, which started in 1979. It has become Jamaica's longest running and most successful talent show. Over the years, it has unearthed talented performers such as Yellow Man, Beanie Man, Paul Blake, Papa San, Nadine Sutherland, Miss Tiny, and Henry Brown. Chang also provides scholarships to students studying medicine, law, and nursing. Drug Addiction Prevention Alert and many other worthy causes are beneficiaries of his largesse. Despite his tremendous success, Chang's humility and unassuming nature are evident to all who meet him. All who know him speak of his kindness and generosity. His success, however, has been tempered by 2 great tragedies in his life: his father's untimely death when he was just a boy, and his son Warren being severely brain damaged from a swimming pool accident when he was just 11 months old. Sadly, Warren passed away after some 30+ years in a heart-rending condition. Chang is a true Jamaican success story. Hard work mixed with a dose of training, determination, and a love of baking has paid off handsomely. He has reduced his involvement in day-to-day matters, but his business is in good hands. Vincent and Valerie's children are playing vital roles in the business, with daughter Simone guarding the secret recipes with responsibility for quality control. Daughter Lisa heads up the finance department, while son Robert has provided project management. In 1995, Chang's philanthropic efforts were recognized by the Jamaican government when he was awarded the Order of Distinction, OD. Over the years, he has received numerous awards, including the Jamaica Observer Business Leader Award in 2002, Observer Lifetime Achievement Award in 1998, and the Ernst & Young Caribbean Entrepreneur for Distribution and Retail in 2003. Vincent Chang has made his mark on the Jamaican business scene, and today he is revered as an exemplary capitalist and business leader. While his parents did not have a business, he nevertheless had the experience of the proverbial Chiney shop. In fact, he had a more varied experience than most, since he moved around to different shops while growing up. According to his wife, Valerie, it was her complaining about his working at night that prompted him to start his own business. He was able to buy an existing small snack shop with funds borrowed from his network of friends and family. Chang's entrepreneurial genius led him to innovate and create a Jamaican patty like no other that captivated the taste of the Jamaican consumer. His kitchen became a laboratory in which he experimented with various variations of fillings and crusts until he found the winning recipe. Next, he had the vision to concentrate all his efforts of this one product and develop the outlets by which he would make them available to the maximum number of customers. Although most entrepreneurs assume calculated risks, Chang says he never felt he was taking a risk, but rather following the natural progression of his business. Whether it was by expanding the number of locations, franchising, targeting schools and other institutions, or exporting product to other islands. One of the lessons of Chang's success is that opportunities are often to be found by merely looking at things differently. When he started his business, patties were already quite commonplace, and everybody made them using their own recipe. There was no obvious opportunity in making a different patty, but he set about doing so with a passion. He disrupted the existing equilibrium in the Jamaican patty business by introducing his own version of the meat filling and pie crust that soon replaced most of the competing products. He did not invent the Jamaican patty, but he improved it, and sales took off. And there you have it, guys. So that is a story read from Jamaican Entrepreneurship by Glen Laman. And there's so many other similar stories in there, the origin of Jamaica broilers, the whole story of Michael Leachin, and many others. So I really hope you enjoyed that. And I just think it speaks to the whole entrepreneurial side of Jamaicans, and we are a big entrepreneurial nation. And so I just think that I hope you enjoyed it, because I'm going to read another story from here in the future. And yeah, Jamaica is so full of talent. Like, this is a Jamaican author writing about other Jamaicans, and he has written his story, The Hero of Fern Gully, also a great read. And I really enjoy reading your stories, so I hope you enjoyed them too. And I tell you something, right now I could eat a Tastee Patty. I don't know about you, but anyway, enjoy, and I'll see you on the next video. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe and leave a comment, because we all like to read each other's comments, and it's all fun to get to know each other in there. So enjoy, guys. Have a nice day or evening wherever you are, wherever you're watching this. One love. See you on the next video.